Right, hello and welcome to a very special episode of UK Versus. We are very sporadically put this together because a brand new article literally just dropped. I am of course Brett Moopsy Pendragon, joined by Richard Godzilla Plumber, who is taking a brief stint from work to jump in with us. Thanks for that, Richard.
That's all good. Yeah, I'm working because I'm not a lazy stay-at-home bum like some people. I know you're just a stay-at-home dad. That's fine. But yeah, I'm working, so I'm just taking a very brief break. So I'm probably not going to be on here for long. But I said I'd just quickly jump on my phone and join
Yeah.
quickly.
So yeah, we got an article outline. It's funny because yesterday I pointed out on the Critical Role stuff that it had Bandai Namco on there,
Yeah.
and then we immediately get hit by the Bandai Namco collaboration with Tekken 8, which
Mm.
is coming, I imagine, 2025. There's no space now.
That may have prompted it. Like they may have forgotten the fact that they had the Bandai Namco on that map and realised, shit, we dropped a ball. Okay, we need to get the article. Oh, it may have been completely deliberate, and they knew what was happening. I don't know.
It could have just been we were not sponsored by any way to drop this news. We just dropped Bandai Namco and then you see there. Oh yeah, it could have been Lenovo being like, someone's finally mentioned it. I can release the article.
Mm.
But yeah,
it might have been like a breadcrumb they were throwing in deliberately. Who knows?
But yeah, this is really cool. But one of the Tekken 8 devs is the one that put me onto it because they were like, I can finally talk about it. They put the information and immediately they're like, this is going to be really cool. They've had to stay quiet for so long due to NDA, and now the article's out, they can finally talk about it. And I don't know much about Tekken, but I know we've done Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter in the past, so this seems like a nice progression. But
yeah, and I think there were definitely a lot of people that wanted, they were happy with like the different IPs, but they did want to bring fighting games back in, and obviously, in some of those, state of the game sort of things. And Paul and Rohan, they talked about like the heritage of fighting games, wanting to honor that. So I think there was always an expectation that some sort of fighting game was coming back into things.
yeah, this will make
And it should never be the focus of the game, but I think having it as part of the game is a positive.
Oh, 100%. And I think Sam Tate and other people, other old heads that were around for that aspect of the game, are going to absolutely love this news.
Yeah, I forget the characters that are in Tekken.
I know there's King, the lion-headed guy, jaguar-headed guy, or tiger-headed guy, but it's definitely something I'll be very interested to see. But before we get on to the big news, let's have a look at Godzilla. And this is absolutely So Connor confirms we do have King in there, but this is huge.
Yoshimitsu, that's a Tekken one. I remember Yoshimitsu. I'm sure I've obviously played a Tekken at some point.
I think
like
we've all played it in arcades and stuff like that. But we haven't had much information on Tekken, but we've had huge Godzilla drops. Ashley and Keenan are going to be absolutely thrilled because it looks like we're getting Mothra. Because if you look at the Challenger series, we see Ghidorah, we see Godzilla, we see Mothra. I forget the flying reptile that's like Ghidorah's other half, but
yeah. So it's Godzilla and Mothra, and then Ghidorah and another, isn't it? What's the other two? It's on the packaging. Rodan.
Rodan. It is on the packaging. Let's have a look at the packaging.
Yeah, it's Godzilla and Mothra, and then Ghidorah and Rodan.
I like this packaging. It feels very MTG Yu-Gi-Oh! S, where you actually get to see the cards through the little window, rather than like we've had in the past where it's just been sealed off. You actually get to see how good these cards actually look.
Yeah, and obviously, it is a different Godzilla, right, to Godzilla -1.
Yes, this is King of Monsters.
He's still a sort of, he's a bit, just reading it, so just for the benefit of those listening, he's a 634. He's got Chaos, Earth, and Water.
Chaos.
He's a giant monster as his traits. He's got your attacks with printed difficulty 5 or greater get +3 damage. So that's a static. It's not an enhance.
Yeah.
So he's a bit Death Armsy, and in that way. Enhanced spin 1 momentum. Your next check to play an attack or block gets +2. So that's cool student on face, which is nice. And first form once per game. Commit. Discard 4 cards. Destroy all foundations. Only playable if there are 10 or more foundations in all stages combined. So he just gets to blow up the world.
So
Is that good? I don't know.
Is
it funny as fuck? Yes.
So basically, Karasu has just been replaced. The moment one of you goes to, if I build to 5, you build to 5. The next person to build a foundation just goes, yeah, the stage gets blown up. Luckily, it's once per game because that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm sure there was an action card in Old World that did this thing as a first form blow up the world.
It did, but it also ended your turn.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Self-destruct. I played it in Vega. It's around here somewhere. Self-destruction or something like that. But yeah, it was a first form. You played it. It destroyed both boards, and it then let you build the top caddy deck. This just blows up the board, lets you build. It's a 34/6 hander.
Yeah.
But Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Ghidorah.
Yeah, so he is a 6/10 with Death, Evil, and Void. It looks like.
It looks like Void, yeah.
He's a giant monster. At the start of the game, add 3 King Ghidorah counters to this card. If you would lose the game due to your health being reduced below 1, instead remove one King Ghidorah counter from this card and return to maximum health. If there are no King Ghidorah counters to the card, you lose the game. Enhanced commit, remove 1 card from your hand, choose one attack or foundation in this card pile, remove it. You may try to play this card this turn. So he's sort of a pseudo 7-hander.
Yeah.
Right? No, he's a remove card from your hand, so he's not. He just gets to play something from his discard pile. Yeah, so he's obviously got more than 10 life. He's sort of a pseudo 40, but like, yeah,
well, it's
maybe more
because after you remove the third counter, you still lose.
If there are no King Doors that you lose, okay, yeah, so 30, that makes sense. So he's sort of 30 plus, right? If you can do 10 damage and a hit, then that just takes a counter off. But sometimes you might, do a 6 and then a 5, in which case, you've sort of effectively gained an extra life that way and stuff like that. So,
I imagine
very interesting.
Will be around, like, gaining counters.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any way to just sort of add a counter of a type that already exists in the character? I don't know. But yeah, I imagine there's some amount of his kit that will add like a King Ghidorah counter and things like that.
100%. For now, the biggest one for me, Crossfade says no. I don't know if that's to do with. I don't think there's anything in the game at the minute that adds counters, but we might get some. But look at these alt arts! Holy hell!
Yeah. The alt arts are sweet. And also the paragraph above that, so it says, in addition, each Challenger series will feature their own bonus, mechanically unique Mecha Godzilla character cards. Godzilla Rodan will be joined by the Machine Dragon Kiryu, the 3rd generation of Mecha Godzilla, and King Ghidorah Rodan will be joined by the extraterrestrial 1st generation of Mecha Godzilla, the Bionic Menace. So in theory, they've got three characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 characters, but yeah, so it's kind of like a static promo. So essentially, getting 3 characters, which is really, really cool. I'd completely missed that because I just looked at this art and was like, yeah, no. Rip Brandon's wallet, the head, the Oceanic champion at the minute that went toe to toe with Nick Reagan at HLC and really good. But this art is literal fire. I know, like, these guys are as rare as chromes, as they say, but this is the first time this art has exceeded chromes.
Obviously, the Australian chap that used to best sell as Godzilla.
Yeah, Brandon is going to be after these like an absolute.
Oh yeah, he's going to be wailing Makamofo on these. Yeah,
I think they're really cool. I think they've got some fun playability. I think they've got some competitive playability depending on how they come down.
Yeah, and obviously looking at their kits and stuff when we eventually get to those.
Well, we got the deck lists for Critical Role last week, so we'll probably get these towards the end of here. Godzilla will definitely see playability. You're on Void, having access to Cape of No Return, hold hostage, decoy duplicates. Basically, just going. I may have 6 health, but you're not getting a single attack off here, mate. It's gonna be really cool.
How good that is compared to just having 30 life, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're cool.
On Evil, you can do stuff like.
I'm glad Mothra is in there.
Yeah,
everyone loves Mothra.
I think this Godzilla. I'm very hyped for Godzilla. I'm very hyped that we now see Mothra. There's an article on UVS that literally dropped about half an hour ago there, Matt. Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up there. Crossfade is on Evil, on Void, thanks to Hihei. We now have a lot of less than 10 health cards. Things like unmatched quickness that just gives all of your attacks plus speed.
So he gets to just turn all of those on immediately.
Yep, he turns all of those things on absolutely immediately, which is really cool. Godzilla having access to all these new Echo cards, such as Shapeshifter Impalement, which is basically just goes, I'm a 7/6, deal with it.
Yeah, and because it's static, it works with thingies, flash moves, right? So, he could play Gently Theft. It's like a 4 mid for 11 catch.
Exactly. CrossFit has just put up another one. Dragon of Darkness Flame is... it's immediately online. If you have 10 or less health, you may discard up to 3 cards from your hand as though they were momentum for this attack's powerful cost.
Yeah.
So turn 1, you can drop on a 5, a 6/7 that you can immediately turn into a 6/16. That's nuts. Let's put.
Well, we can theory craft when we get a bit more information about them.
Sword of the Darkness Flame. If you have 10 or less health, draw a card, gain 2 health. Unrivaled Quickness. Gain this. If you have 10 or less health, this attack gets +1 and -1 speed as an enhance. Warped Pleasure. If your rival has 10 or less health, your attack gets +1 speed or +1 damage. So that's some anti-tech. Desperate Slash. If you have 10 or less health, this attack gets -1 difficulty +1 damage. Oh, this is absolutely insanity. The stuff you can get away with now. The Strength of a Pro. If you have 10 or less health, gain 2 health, playable while committed. Flurry of Punches. If you have 10 or less health, this attack gains +2 damage. Crystal Chokeslam. If your rival. Ghidorah. There's
definitely moves you can do with it.
Yeah, 100%. We got Michael in here saying that during the HLC, had to keep changing the subjects to other fighting games because he was struggling so much to keep under wraps. And then we've had the reveal of the last Challenger deck.
Yeah, this one, I'll be honest, I'm not sure on. It's obviously Star Trek Lower Decks. Now, I'm a big fan of Star Trek. Like, I grew up on Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. I love them. I've enjoyed some of the new Trek. Like, the new movies are fine. I enjoyed Picard once, you ignore the second season. I enjoyed Discovery a little bit. I've never watched Lower Decks, and I from what I can sort of make out, it's sort of a mixed bag in terms of whether people like it or not. The fact it's written by the same guy who did Rick and Morty does not fill me with joy, because it's kind of cringe and edgelordy.
I've binged all of it when it's initially come out. One of my friends who is sadly no longer with us was a massive fan of it, and they're the ones that kind of like turned me onto it.
Yeah.
And it's basically just following the people of the lower decks. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. It's following your red shirts. It's following the people that want to be captains. It's very self-referential about stuff like how people keep coming back.
Yeah, and like I think it's sort of the inspiration is for like a TNG episode, right? Which I think actually was literally called Lower Decks, which was just following a lot of the sort of lesser members, a day in the life of random Joes on the Starship Enterprise, and that was like a cool episode of TNG. My curiosity is like, how the heck does this fit into a fighting game, really?
Because
that's the sort of disconnect for me.
There is a lot of you have things like phasers and stuff like that as the attack.
Sure,
but
just it just feels like an odd choice. Like it's. I don't think it was on anyone's bingo card of what the sci-fi franchise was going to be. And yeah, I don't. I remain to be convinced on it.
The funny thing
I'm willing to be convinced, if that makes sense.
The funny thing is, I kind of called this, but I went to the wrong show. I said once they got Critical Role, which is an Amazon Prime show, we're gonna get another Amazon Prime show, and I was saying Invincible. Lower Decks is an Amazon Prime show, so I knew it was coming. But so no, it won't be Klingons and stuff like that because they don't have. This is following next gen, so like Riker's in it and stuff like that. And it's about the entire thing is about second contact and how like you've got the first generation and the OG guys going to these planets, get them into the Federation, and then no one ever follows up on them. And you've got some planets from like next gen or the original series that have fallen back to worshipping computers. That we literally just saved you from these guys. Why would you go back? And it's really cool. You get peanut basket and stuff like that would be really cool. It's hard if you haven't seen the show. I can understand why you're trying not to how you'd see how hard it is to get it. But Lower Decks is kind of perfect for this game, especially going off the four main characters. And if we have, it's been so long since I watched it. I'm gonna have to look up the names.
But like, I'm interested from a point of view of, they're trying something new, they're trying something different.
Yeah.
Star Trek is a big franchise in general, so that's a good thing. Again, it's a sort of thing that maybe brings new eyes on, from the sort of Star Trek fan base, which obviously is massive, right? One of the sort of biggest fan bases out there would be Star Trek. So again, interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be
how it fits into the fighting game genre, like the fight. What we are, like, Universus is fundamentally about mano a mano combat, right? So how that doesn't necessarily fit what I think of as Star Trek. But we'll see what they do with it.
It's a lot unlike with like the other Star Treks where it's just like ship on ship action. This is more hand to hand based combat sort of stuff, and it's a lot more around the characters.
No, I get that, but it's not like I would not sort of attribute it to primarily a combat oriented program, right? It's like a lot of Star Trek is like interpersonal relations.
Yeah,
it doesn't really fit into a primarily I'm punching you and kicking you in the face sort of game.
But I imagine we're going to have a Rutherford and Tendi Challenger deck, which is going to be the more science weapon tech based cards, and then we'll have a Boimer and Mariner Challenger deck, which is going to be more. It's all going to be weapon based. But if Mariner doesn't have chaos, I'm rioting. She is, especially season 1 and season 2, so chaotic against what the Federation actually is, and she's so disenfranchised with like the Federation as a whole. She just does whatever she wants for the sake of chaos. So I for one, as self-appointed Chaos Community Ambassador, welcome Beckett Mariner to Chaos. And Toga 3 is going to sit pretty with a Chaos Star Trek build because it's all weapons.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like, it's this sort of how does sort of things like kick and punch and slam fit into Star Trek.
Exactly.
Obviously they have thought this stuff through and they have plans for it. I'm just waiting to be convinced of it, right? Again,
Oh,
I've not seen Lower Decks. I don't know how it works, but yeah, Star Trek wouldn't be one I'd pick.
no.
Just as a what would be on my bingo card for what it was. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with it.
Oh, 100%. When I saw Star Trek, I was like, "That's cool." When I read it, I was like, "It's Lower Decks." I'm so hyped.
Mm.
Lower Decks is just so good. And if we're gonna get all arts that are on par with the uh with the Godzilla stuff, if this is the new direction they're going with, I mean, the Japanese kind of art style does make sense here. But if we're gonna get a tech sort of futuristic version of all arts for Star Trek, I am so hyped. This is so cool. The art's here, and I am so hyped for Lower Decks to come in.
Ooh, just seen something.
What's that?
If you go and look at the Godzillas, like the arts of the cards, notice where the keywords are.
The back at the top.
Yeah, whether that's just a
Hey!
character. Now that might be just a character thing, but it might not be.
No, that I hadn't noticed that myself. I know. They're now back at the top.
Which is where they should be. That
Yeah,
might just be a character thing. It might be an overall thing. We'll wait and see.
it might just be another example of them listening to feedback going, it makes it harder for us to know what keywords our opponents have got
Mm-hmm.
because they're at the bottom. That's really cool. Ah, that's an absolutely great one. Yeah, as Michael's pointed out, we do get the Mecha Godzilla, which Richard brought up, and we get different ones depending, which is going to be another great purchase action. Adding all these extra stuff makes the price tag more viable because if you're getting 3 characters over 2, you're more likely
Yeah,
to go.
again, I think they just need to bring the value of these more in line with the cost, right?
Yeah.
I think that's something they definitely need to do. So, step in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%. And I we haven't got much on the Tekken, and I think at some point going down the line we'll have to see if Murdocles is allowed to come and talk to us about Tekken, being one of the people that's going to be like that's worked on the Tekken set, on the Tekken stuff. If we're getting a set, if it's Challenger, it'd be really cool. If
I imagine there's very little he'll be able to say, right?
Yeah,
If it's not in an official thing, then it might be something when we've had more news released from UVS Games that he can come on and talk about the stuff he's allowed to talk about, and that'd be great. And just from a design perspective, I'd be totally up for that. And if he can come on and talk about stuff, again, that's great. I would just be surprised whether he would be allowed to.
he says once it's out, then I can. So one thing for me, so let's put a pin in that, Michael, and put it as like a standing date. Once the Tekken stuff is out, we will get you on to talk about it from the design and like behind the scenes process, which I think is really cool. But
Yeah.
that's like a year in the works now. But it's great to see how that we're now getting the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 coming out now.
Yeah, yeah, it's just that kind of early sort of drip marketing for this stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, in your personal opinion, Richard, which are you most excited for here? The Godzilla, the Tekken, or the Lower Decks? Well, it's not going to be Lower Decks for you.
No, it's probably the Godzilla one, right? They look really cool, and I like what Challenger decks in general bring to the game in terms of like having these sort of smaller IPs, just through the Challenger decks, and just sort of having a taster of them rather than having to worry about a full booster set. So yeah, I think probably the Godzilla ones. They look cool. I think
I wonder
Godzilla
how
itself
many
is pretty
people are
sweet.
going to make the same misinterpretation that you made with Ghidorah of oh, I get to not die 3 times instead of not die 2 times.
Yeah.
Because these
Yeah,
guys
like I
are,
say, I wonder whether there's stuff in his kit to add more counters. If they are, then there's probably got to be fairly restrictive costing and stuff
yeah,
because obviously adding
it's
another
going to be
counter is a very
huge,
powerful ability
and
for him.
I expect to see a fair number of Guerreras at Spain, just because going again, it's one of those, you can be an ass and just go into the Spanish event with this really really silly thing. Yeah, we know. Yeah, I know. Taisai, which was the seventh cost character, which you kept being able to get rid of characters from your stage to mess about with checks, which was really really cool. I think it was checks, or was it attacks? But I think Richard needs to get back to work, if that's right.
Yes,
But
I do. Yeah, I probably need to drop. Obviously, if you want to keep chatting and keep chatting with chat, that's totally fine. But yeah, unfortunately, I've got to go get back to work. I've got
too
to earn
bad.
my living. So,
Yeah, I'll let you
um,
go, Richard. Thanks for quickly coming on here.
yeah, no worries, guys. Thanks to everyone for watching on Twitch. Obviously, feel free to keep chatting, Brett,
I'll
and
keep chatting
I'll
for a little
let's
bit, and
catch you
I'm
all next
gonna get
time.
some lunch. Yeah, have a good one, man. Catch you in a bit.
Bye, bye.
Right. So yeah, thanks Richard for jumping in here. But yeah, Tensei just didn't die, but was a 30 health, and it was in the sage with Gauge, which let you kept tutoring out more characters. But yeah, I opened Seventh Cross recently, which I'm quite aware of, like, those characters a little bit. I was more focused on like the multiple guys, but yeah, Tensei was an absolute power. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, cool, that's really cool line. This is gonna add so much onto there. Hi Tom, yeah. So you missed the majority of it. So we got Godzilla. We had a look at the packaging, which is really really cool. Now we got little foil, little clay windows. We had a look at the characters, which is what we're talking about here. Oop. I realized I was still in studio mode. Let's go out of studio mode. We got the packaging, which was really really cool. If the character gets sealed, they have no abilities. So I need to pick up some I need to pick up a fourth Chronostasis trigger and just watch my opponent cry. But I mean, he's on evil, so he's got lots of speed reduction. He's on void. He's got spooky and all this other stuff for at least the year. Well, at least the second half of the year. Because I believe, it's a static ability, so it doesn't matter if he's committed. You can't use things like Blood Curdle. So things like, what's the dragon one? Dragon Impact. It's a commit, so that's fine. It's literally just the seal character, which is the issue. Yeah. The only thing you can do to make him a blank is seal him. you could just spend counters as well. As Apple says, yeah, you've got Skullbat Bursting Bash, which says you can spend an additional character counter on your character to draw a card, which is really really cool. Yeah, I think this is if it really cool. If it was got like a bit like Kurama or Taisai, where you have to stack characters, it'd be really cool because he shares symbols with Titan Cliff and stuff like that, so you can cheese them out. So I think that would be really cool. But I think the counter aspect is a little weird, but it's probably a bit more balanced, and we haven't really seen good use of counters. And we might see some muscular shoji buffs coming from his kit as well, if given that they do. I think they share a couple of symbols. And anyone who plays these is just going for glory. Oh, so cool. I as soon as I saw these, I immediately messaged Brandon just showing these off. Tasty Rift is a great one. Well, you even if you did know William, you can't tell us because of your position. But I don't think there's any way at the moment that we can. I don't think there's any way we can generate at the moment. But it'd be really cool in the kit if there was just one or two things that had a really high cost, like discard free momentum, gain a Ghidorah counter. So you still have to kind of block and go around that aspect. I think the fact you have to keep cycling with the 10 is really cool. So you can't just kill him with a 20 damage attack. You have to do 3 separate instances of 10, which means once he gets like 1, he sort of just sits there and laughs, going, your next attack doesn't really do anything. Giro 2 rare. Let's quickly. So there is a way to generate counters, but does it share symbol with slamming through. Choose one counter on your character and gain 1 of it. Yeah, I'm a hero too. Just goes, but doesn't share a symbol. We're good, boys. We're good. Oh. Woo. But that, yeah, if it shared a symbol, that would be absolutely brilliant. In the tag format, which Murdercles is also responsible for, you could get around it. I'm sure there are some very, very fun ways to get these in. Yeah, but at the moment, without seeing the kits, it's very hard to say. First thing you did was search. Yeah, that's fair. I am so hyped for this Godzilla stuff. We've got Tekken being announced as product coming, which is with the Bandai Namco, because that was one of the things I did note yesterday. Was with the stuff that we had on for the weekly promos. Yeah, now had a Bandai Namco. I can zoom in. Yep, it now has a Bandai Namco at the little bottom here. So I immediately questioned it when I saw it, and then we immediately get the announcement that they're partnering with. Yeah, promo. We went into that yesterday. Promo printing is just beautiful. Is it now? Oh, I did not know that. That might have just been something I missed. But got an event later on, so I just need to. They want to sign everyone a bit early. It is a neat Easter egg, and it might have just been they were waiting for someone to point it out. Tekken is really, really cool. I think it's people have been waiting for a fighting game to come back. This entire game was created because of fighting games. EX, powerful, all comes from. Even combo comes from the fighting game. We haven't had a combo breaker, which is maybe what we're going to get in the future. It might be a way of bringing reversal back in. But I can't wait to see. I'm not a big Tekken. I know King because back when I was a kid, we had a Tekken game for GameCube or PS2, and King is who I played because I was like, ooh, leopard guy, let's go. High blocks, partial zones, exactly. all part of fighting games. It's fighting games made us where we are, and as we approach the 20th anniversary, bringing in more fighting games is really cool. And I think we the 20th anniversary they might have something more lined up. And then just for Tom, who it was a bit late to the party, we got Lower Decks, and I am all in on Lower Decks. This is Moopsy. Moopsy will not be part of the Challenger decks. Moopsy is the greatest sci-fi creature in the world to me. I love Moopsy so much. But yeah, I am so. When I saw Star Trek, I was like, that's cool. When I saw Lower Decks, I was like, it's so chaotic. It's so good. It is filled with so much more chaotic energy and so much more relatability than the utopian society of Star Trek. That you've got so much more going on behind the scenes. I think this is really, really, really cool. It's also nice to see them kind of moving away from the anime aspect, because from the end of this year, once Attack on Titan goes down, it were going Lower Decks, Tekken. As much as I do love anime, I think, yeah, as Michael said, there's a more lap over between fighting games and card games than anime and card games, and the anime card game market is so oversaturated at the minute. Now we've just had the new Star Wars one as well, which does have its own animes, but I think I'm really hyped to see what else comes in, because Lower Decks has got a bit of a cult following, and my friend Kira, who got me into card games, Kira and Mike built my love for card games at their store in Wigan before it closed down and was taken over and rebranded by my lovely friend Andy. She got me onto Lower Decks. I binged it, and she's no longer with us, and she would have absolutely loved to see this coming out, and I'm going to have to at least go to one major event with a Lower Decks deck just because of her, and I cannot wait to see this come down. It hits me hard that Lower Decks is coming because I have a sentimental attachment to it. Tekken, not so much. Godzilla is just... I think every geek here is looking at Godzilla and being like, yes, let's go. Yeah, I think that's just it. I think Challenger is a great way to bring in Godzilla, Critical Role. One kind of things like, it's a great way to test the water to see if people like them, and two, it means that you're not oversaturating a limited IP. You got to think Critical Role, the show on the campaigns have got very limited card potential without really oversaturating or really digging for characters. Because if they try to make it a set, you've got the main five, the Briarwoods, and then you have to dig into every other NPC. Then with stuff like Lower Decks would be even harder because there's so much crossover between what they do. Godzilla, you'd be fine. It's got 70 years of history you can dig into. I think that's really cool. What's going on in the chat here? Yeah, I mean, DLC had some very good cards, with cards like Cannon Blast, Tongue Whip, even All Might 2 saw limited play. I think DLC being integrated into main sets and Challenger coming in as a more veteran aimed deck is a lot better. But yeah, yeah. Challenger is a lot better, and the fact the alt arts, I think we're getting closer to justifying the price of Challenger as well. The fact that we're getting the Mecha Godzillas coming in here, that the alt arts are getting absolute fire. Because if we're going to have this kind of traditional Japanese styling for all the alt arts that we see, and we've seen them in Vox Machina as well, the alt arts are more tailor-made to the lore of the story. We're seeing the Japanese sort of folk art style here. I think that's really, really cool. If we get more tech-based cards for Star Trek, if we get more Western European art styles for Attack on Titan, because that's where they kind of drew all their influence for their character designs. My Hero is a bit more of a difficult one when it comes to alt arts, but if they're going to tailor make them, I think that's so cool. I kind of like Class Reunion, Michael. So you get a packet. I don't know about a pack of sleeves because dice I can understand, but the sleeve issue same as like Class Reunion. I don't want to have to. I'm buying 4 of these regardless, but it would have to be one set of sleeves. Unlike the Class Reunion where you were getting like 1 out of 6. If I buy 2 Godzillas and 2 Ghidorahs, I should have 100 Godzilla sleeves and 100 Ghidorah sleeves. I shouldn't be like ended up with 50 Godzilla, 50 Ghidorah, 50 Mothra, 50 Rodar, and be like, oh cool, I've got these nice sleeves, but I don't get to play them. Yeah, they have to be fixed. 100% these need to be a fixed distribution. I'm just going to have a quick drink because I was going to make myself some lunch and a brew, but then this dropped. Yeah, no. This is absolutely huge. I thought the biggest thing we were going to get was the ban list tomorrow, which was just going to be nothing's changing. But yeah, Ghidorah is the most interesting card I've seen in a while. Yu Hakusho had some really cool stuff, but it wasn't anything we hadn't seen before in the current iteration. We had Kurama, which was an interesting one, but it was just Ectoplasm 2.0. We'd seen things like Elder to Go, we'd seen things like Young to Go before. Ghidorah, this 10 healther, the 6 health is. Yeah. Why do we don't need to ban Twisty Azor? Twisty Azor is fine. It doesn't have 5 difficulties, so Godzilla can't break it. It's fine. It only has a year of life left. Let me break it. Twisty Azor is fine. Let me play one event. Let me play one event with Dark Tournament Looms, Manifest, Teamwork, and all this fun stuff that's now existing on the Chaos symbol that lets me just go boom, 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 boom. For those that haven't seen it, I think we have got a video coming out today or tomorrow where I got Twisty Azor to like an 8 mid for 15 in standard. And Caleb was on 16, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm just gonna get to kill you again. And it didn't even matter what character I played. I've played this on Amijiki, I've played this on Sasaki. Azor is beautiful. Azor's fine. Dark Tournament Looms does not change Azor in any way. No, it's fine. It's fine. What do you mean that I can just play Twisty Azor, get it to ridiculous damage, play Ambush Thrust, play Manifest, put Twisty Azor into my momentum, pick it up with Ambush Thrust, play it again, and just keep chaining on actions? What do you mean Suzuki has discard, draw a card on face that I can just keep digging for all the actions in the world I need? What do you mean it's fine? Cremation isn't an issue. Azor isn't an issue. It's been fine for years. Just because he added all these new Sayaki Gambles and Dark Tournament Looms, which is essentially a 2-for-1. It's fine. It's not like you can do it turn one like you could in Retro. Your opponent has foundations to defend with. It's fine. It's a mid. It's easy blockable. Just don't overextend and you'll never die. Stop trying to... I thought we've already got an emote from the last time I thought Twisty Azure was banned. I don't want to have to do it again. And I think I was wearing a different shirt. This is my Universus shirt from HLC. Why does everyone want to take away my good things? No! Azure! I haven't played it in so long. It is! Okay, fine. Azure is teetering on the scope of being banned. I think the only reason it hasn't been banned is because it hasn't had enough representation. Nick Reagan was playing on order, so couldn't use Azure in there, which Endeavor 3 can easily break Azure if you can cycle quickly enough. But it hasn't. UVS just haven't had the data. They haven't had the event data to go Azure is an issue. They had it from Retro, and I think it's coming. The best thing is, Younger to Go can't play it, and I think Younger to Go is going to be one of the most highly represented characters in the Wish tournament. I think it's going to fly under the radar for at least season 1. I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be. Can you get to go play it? Am I completely missed? Oh, he's got death. Never mind. Yep, he can play it. No. Oh, so yeah. Twisty Azure, Younger to Go. Just need 6 foundations. Yeah, no. Okay. I hadn't looked at Younger to Go outside of Evil and All. So yeah, no. Oh no! I've just built Elder to Go for the Wish tournament. I could build a Death Younger to Go Azure. No. I think I'll save that for a bigger event. So yeah, Twisty Azure, Death to Go, definitely an issue. Definitely could get banned. Yeah, but personally, I think it's going to be a Jero situation. It is going to coast on never outright winning events, and it's just going to kind of coast under that guise of it's an issue, but it isn't winning events. It's because the attack lineup that you basically like, you either the chaos build isn't like the ragdoll build. You can't just immediately go get Azure and play it. It's a lot less inconsistent. So I think Azure is going to be the Jero of this year. People are going to call for it to be banned, and they're going to have very unfun times when their opponent's popping off, playing these long strings. But it's not going to get banned unless it starts doing it consistently. I do have the clip.
Twisty is a Inferno on a 5. Checks a 3, 4, 5. Let's respond for 2 speed. Who's excited?
Was playing.
I'm gonna pass.
Dark Tournament Looms on a 3. Checks a 3, respond for 2 damage.
I don't know why the response is coming in.
I draw a card and it removes itself from the card pool.
I will
Also,
commit
my
save
opponent should be
save just damage.
16,
No, I can't do that. I'll pass.
It's your attack, yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
referee Joey
Dark
exists,
Tunnel Looms on a
you've got
3.
lots of damage resets.
Okay.
Things
2
like
damage.
broken
It removes
psychic.
itself from the card pool.
It's an issue
Draw a
if
card.
you haven't
I draw a card. Any
or
response
you've got
on play?
damage reduction with Boo, you got damage reduction with Shoot.
No.
Let's check
You can
hack.
definitely
All
get
my
away with it.
checks
It's when
cost 1
you're
less, or your
overextended
checks
like
cost 1
Caleb
more.
was here.
I'm passing.
Let's go
And
with
also
Dark Tunnel
sitting here-
Looms on a 2.
Playing
Check.
Dark Tunnel Lose,
Spawn for damage.
getting
Draw
damage,
card.
getting speed.
Can we have that one there,
I
please?
don't know,
I'm
it's just a draw.
passing. Have another action. Just please. One more action.
Oh,
One more
oh.
action to complete the quad.
I didn't realize that the clip had audio. I do apologize. I'll turn it off. But yeah, playing the teamwork. I do apologize. I forgot the clip had audio. Most of the clips I put on here don't have audio. I do apologize to everyone because that was probably really loud. So yeah, I was just playing Sasaki for the sake of it. No worries, Matt. Yeah, so got them to 1 off the Azure and then just played Dimension Sphere, which they can't block because it's a 5-1. Okay, that's cool. If it wasn't too loud, but yeah. So I understand. I have been trying to break Azure since it came out. Dabby 1 was a great way for me to do it. Dabby 2, I never really gelled with. And I think now that we have Dark Tournament Looms, it's on the cusp. If we see, oh yeah, Didoro is very cool. Amajiki is better, and we have a tag game coming out where Caleb and I play it, and I'm playing Amajiki Tabe, and I am just I do the same thing again. I just pop off, but using some death cards as well. I'm using some all cards as well from Tabe because tag lets you use 2 symbols, and I was able to make Twisted Azure pop off even more. I think honestly, I think Azure is an issue, but I think there's also big issues. Oh yeah, Amajiki does not want that card, but the main issue thing is it gets blocked, it goes to momentum, and then with Ambush Thrust, Dark Tournament Looms, that's 8 cards in my deck that then can pick it back up for me. So I think it's really cool. But I don't think we're going to see anything from the ban list here. We might see something in April after the Wish tournament, after the webcam RLE, after the first round of qualification numbers come in. We might see something there. I think it's great having you all here, and I know the majority of people tuned in just to take a look at the news. If this time works for people, I might start streaming a little bit more, going over decks and stuff like that. Like not try and clash with David. Twisty Manifest, Dark Tournament Looms, Twisty again. Yeah, exactly. Well, you need an extra one down because Dark Tournament Looms is an enhance, so you have to go Twisty, Manifest, Dark Tournament Looms, or you can play Dimension Sphere, which lets you draw more cards. You can play Cage of Hell doesn't really do anything there. There's there's ways you can just keep doing it. Yeah, so if you manifest Twisty in, you'd have to have another one in there. So the reason I was playing Sasaki there was to get Bright Future, which let me discard like a teamwork from my card pool as well, and draw a card, which lets me keep going, lets me keep going. So I just kept clearing progressive difficulty. I was also running the action from set 2, paying the cost, or living up to his example. The one that lets you is a first enhance. You may discard cards for EX, draw a card if you're a 6-hander, because yeah, it's a free cost one, but it basically just goes, yeah, draw more cards. really cool. I've got to shoot now because I've got to have some lunch and then get off to the qualifiers down in Southampton because they've actually got some. Big thanks to everyone that came out to see this news. I am so hyped for all this new stuff. Very hyped for Godzilla. Tekken, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes. Living up to this example, thank you, Matt. And Lower Decks. Lower Decks came out of nowhere, but huge. Oh, I'm 100% going to lose. Essentially, I have to go down there, sign up, and then probably start to head back because Robin has stuff on later in the evening. I get to play like 1 or 2 rounds, but I need the point to qualify for regionals because the next one they're having is on the 1st of April, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down for that one. So I need to head down there, sign up, play like 1 or 2 rounds, then come back. So unless I'm 2 up, I'm probably just going to lose all my rounds and get back. Play Spike on what? I'm probably going to play Karama or Elder to Go because that's what I got built. But thanks for everyone for being here. And so no. I'll just quickly this one. No. So Worlds lets me immediately play in Nats. Doesn't immediately let me play in Hourlies. I still need to qualify for Hourlies. I don't need to qualify for Nats. So thanks everyone for being here. Unless there's some major news, we'll be back next week because we got the stuff going on of the Wish tournament. So unless there's some major news tomorrow, great to have you all here, and I'm going to shoot off. See you later.